Willie D Live.
It's Willie D, y'all, back with another episode of information and instructions to help you navigate through this wild, crazy, beautiful world. In the studio, Shuler King.
What's
Mr.
up, man?
Frank Williams III.
Yeah.
And you know what? I had to do that in honor of your parents.
Yes.
Who raised you, in my opinion, very well.
That's right.
You have a very strong family foundation.
I do, yeah.
That is commendable, and it's something that should actually be, a natural order, right? But not all of us had the opportunity to grow up in a two-parent household. I know I didn't.
Yeah.
And it makes the world of difference.
Oh, yeah.
It makes the world of difference. You grew up in a two-parent household with not just two parents, but loving parents.
Yeah. I mean, like we grew up in the hood, but so being as though we were in the hood, I was probably, our household might have been 3 houses that had fathers out of that whole, within a 3 or 4 block radius. You know what I'm saying? It was probably 3 because I remember, so I had a father in my house. Down the street, it was Mr. Smiley. That's all. I don't know what real name was, Mr. Smiley.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Sam down the street. That was it.
And did you see like an obvious difference in with how you was raised and the other kids who had dads in the house versus the ones who didn't?
Oh man, like I know like my friends who ain't have, who didn't have their father, they wasn't scared of nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there was no barriers but like you don't really notice it. You just be like, man, these was the cool kids, or you thought they was cooler than you, and then you know what I mean, because you had to answer to somebody, and it was somebody like that really would tighten your ass up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And somebody, I'm gonna tell your daddy, that's like, all right, you got me. You know what I mean? It was like, having a father around, especially a father who was like mine, it was like being in a positive hostage situation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. My father was like, he wasn't
a positive hostage situation.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't like, my father wasn't abusive or nothing like that, but he was like, he was a father. He wasn't taking no, he wasn't gonna be no bullshit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Straight up, man. But he was a good father, man. He passed away 2 years ago. I'm his namesake. You know what I mean? And my family, ran a funeral home. The cool thing about it is the funeral home started in 1945.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this year right here makes 80 years. You know what I mean? That the business been in existence, and my father put everything he had into that. So did my grandfather. My great-grandfather was the one that bought the land. You know what
Beautiful.
I mean? Yeah, so
Beautiful, man.
Yeah, so but they wasn't perfect people, man. Shoot, my father, you know what I mean, he wasn't no perfect man, and my grandfather, neither was he, man. Shit, my granddaddy, I just grew up around like rough kind of guys. Like back in the day, my granddaddy shot 2 white boys. Yeah. And one of them slapped him. You know what I mean? So he was known
in South Carolina.
Yeah, in South Carolina. You know what I mean?
And what was the repercussions of that?
For him slapping him, him and the sheriff was real good. So the sheriff came and took his gun and told the white boys, y'all ain't got no business on the black side of town.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's the story. I knew my grandfather.
What year was this?
I do not know the year, but I wasn't no good year to shoot white people in South Carolina. You can't. So
even in 2025.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So but he was a man's man. I grew up around men's men. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like them kind of fellas that what you see when you have men around, or you grow up around real men, is that it's the small things that really are big. You know what I mean? Right. You see men talking to each other, looking each other in the eyes. You know the small things, and know if you're right-handed where you watch on your left hand. You know what I mean? You learn how to tie a tie. It's grown men around here that don't, know how to do that. And you learn how to settle differences. You know what I mean? You like, my father had, certain men that he had known for years. And I've seen them have differences amongst each other and never get into a physical altercation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he done whooped a few people's ass before, but they never got into a physical, or not with his friends, the people that he loved. And you know what I mean? They were his, best friends and confidants. They would get into an argument, like, to the point where you think they about to fight, but they're not. A few days go by, they don't speak. Next thing you know, one of them come up and it's almost like it ain't never happened. They laugh about it. You know what I mean?
You know the importance of that, man, is you don't find yourself making as many mistakes. Because I grew up in a household, contrary to yours, where you learn to settle conflict with fists, guns, and insults.
Mm-hmm.
Consequently, me and people like me who made those type of observations and ran with them as the truth.
Mm-hmm.
We made a lot of mistakes. Some of us ended up dead.
Mm-hmm.
Others ended up in prison because we didn't understand how to resolve conflict
Right.
Without leading with our emotions.
Yeah.
So learning being around other men and watching another man resolve conflict without violence can get you a long way in life, because it's not just that situation with his friends, it's also the situation with his boss. Because there are some people that don't like their bosses, and when the boss pisses them off, well, fuck, motherfucker, what you want to do then? Swinging on the boss and everything. And now you just threw away the whole family income. Like, you can't pay the rent now. You can't pay for the car.
Man.
Now. You ain't think things through.
Exactly. So that's the thing about it. Like, what you do is you see balance. If you grow up around certain kind of men, like I grew up around, you might see somebody get the shit slapped out of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If somebody gets out of pocket, you may see somebody who deserves it.
Yeah, it's got to be one of those situations where he crossed the line. Yeah. Everybody understood it.
Or I'm trying to protect somebody.
Even the pastor understood it.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Turn the other cheek, but
yeah, it's like, all right, you know what I'm saying? I get
can
it.
understand that.
Yeah, I wanted to slap
right.
You know what I mean? But, you see that type of thing, you know what I mean? And then, growing up, man, just growing up in the environment we grew up in, man, you had to fight sometimes. It just was what it was, you know what I mean? It wasn't you couldn't be diplomatic all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes somebody just gonna bring it to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you just got to fight. You know?
And really that's everywhere in life, no matter what background you come from, you're probably going to have to fight at some point, at least once or twice.
Yeah.
Because bullies, they come in all shapes, sizes, and colors and backgrounds. And the only way to stop a bully, in my opinion, is to bully the bully. You got to be able to bully the bully, because bullies don't understand logic. They don't understand. Let's talk. Can we talk this out? Why are you hitting me?
Yeah, like what's the problem? Like, what did I do something wrong?
Yeah.
You don't like this shirt, or what is? No. You see, that's my thing. Where it's like I can't remember who I was talking to. I said, man, in order to properly communicate with somebody, you have to be able to speak their language. And if their language is violence, if that's what you understand and respect, either I have to speak that language, or I can get an interpreter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I like that. Man, we got something in common here. Several things that that are obvious commonalities, but we got in common. What we have in common here is you are a middle child. You got 2 brothers and 2 sisters.
Yeah.
And now, what's the sequence?
Okay, so my father has an older son named Marcus. That's my oldest brother.
Okay.
Then my parents got married, and my parents had my sister, me, and my baby brother. So I grew up as the middle child in the house.
Gotcha.
But I also have a sister who is my sister in love. We are not biologically related. My mother was a high school teacher.
Right.
So she was one of my mother's students. And somehow or another, she ended up babysitting us. But throughout the years, like, it just, she's our sister. You know what I mean? I was just talking to her today. She's up in New Jersey, getting ready for the snowstorm or whatever. But yeah, man. So that I think how black folks is. God put people in your life that they're family. You know what I mean? It's just is what it is. So anytime people ask me how many siblings you got 2 brothers, 2 sisters.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah.
You grew up in Sumter,
South
Carolina.
That's right. That's
Man,
right.
Now, how does a young man from Sumter, South Carolina, born of a educator and funeral home director, navigate his way through little Sumter, South Carolina, to the world stage? Like, how do you make that transition?
Man, listen, I used to be, first of all, everybody in my family know how to talk shit. Like some of my family, some of the funniest people in the world. They all funny to me, you know what I mean? But nobody ever, like my father didn't try to push me to be in the funeral business. He said, look, I can't teach you anything that I don't know. This is what I know, so this is what I'm going to teach you. You know what I mean? And thank God that he did that. But I always had that desire to do something. I didn't know what it was going to be, but, it just, by the time I got to about 18, I was like, man, I'm going to be a comedian. And I didn't even say that out loud. I was just like, I want to be a comedian. And how I actually ended up getting into it, I was at a music store. I was working at a music store part-time, and the guy came in promoting the show. And I kept bothering him about, what about comedy and how does this work? How does that work? He was just like, man, you a comedian or something? And before I could say no, the girl I was working with said yes. Because she kept telling me that I needed
always cracking jokes.
Yeah, she was like, he need to, because she wanted me to do it. So I was like, yeah, man, I'll think about it. He was like, all right, well, here's my number. He wrote his number down on the flyer, gave me the flyer, and was like, if you decide whether you want to do it or not, let me know. So I called him, told him I wanted to do it. I was nervous as hell. I ain't writing no jokes. I ain't had no jokes. Wasn't prepared at all. But as soon as I got off the phone, I was so nervous. I just started writing, and it was 3 minutes can seem like a lifetime if you're doing bad. You know what I mean? But I got up there. I did pretty good, and I was just off. It was off to the races. Now it's 20 years later.
Do you know that I recently discovered that it was 20 years later? I recently discovered that because I thought that you started on the internet.
Nah.
Because that's why I found you. I was about to say discovered, but I didn't even discover you. My sister discovered you.
Yeah.
And she told me about you, and I started checking you out.
Yeah.
And I was like, this dude is hilarious. And then you have that catchphrase of yours.
Anybody want to
tell me?
Yeah.
When did you know that would be a thing for you? Like, did you say that one time and then somebody said, that was dope, man, how you said that, and you said, you know what, I'm gonna keep that, and I'm gonna make that my hook?
No, when I first started doing the videos, for some reason, I just kept saying it. I don't even, I would always start off with just, ladies and gentlemen, anybody want to tell me? And it's just because I'm reacting to these pictures and videos and stuff. So I would just keep saying it, and I couldn't stop myself from saying it. But I didn't even know I was saying it. Right. And people started messaging me and say, man, bruh, that right there need to be your hook, man. And then the crazy thing about it is, I was trying to find something to say, but I kept saying that all the time. Yeah. So everybody was like, yo, that's the next thing you know, I trademarked it, started printing it on shirts and everything, man. I was like, well, this is it. You know what I mean?
It.
Yeah, that's it.
I always say that comedians who don't have to talk, they don't have to tell a joke and people start laughing are some of the best, because that's really a cheat code. That's really an unfair advantage that you have when you can make a face and people just start laughing. Like Corey Holcomb is one of those dudes that have that. Corey can make a face and you just bust out laughing. That's a fucking advantage, man. That's a big ass advantage.
It is, but it's also a skill. See, a lot of people be like, oh, he ain't saying nothing, that ain't comedy. No, it's called physical comedy. You know what I'm saying? If you go back and watch Martin a lot of times where there'll be certain scenes where Martin ain't saying nothing, but the crowd is dying laughing because he's
he
being
got that too.
physical.
Yeah.
You understand? So, and it's also about timing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of times if I, and I'm giving away a little secret, a lot of times, if you doing physical comedy, sometimes I'm counting in my head and knowing that I only need to do this for 3 seconds, or I should wait 5 seconds before I look away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Something like that. You know what I mean? Because it's just comedy is about timing, it's about rhythm. So it looks like you're doing it effortlessly, but it's actually a method to the madness. It's something that you're doing. But see, that's what you learn throughout your 20 years.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
See, and I was hesitant to check you out. Stand up, like
most people. Yeah.
I was hesitant because I was like, it's an internet dude, hey, no offense, y'all, but like
you can say
internet guys are just not as strong as guys who come up in the trenches.
Yeah,
real stand up dudes who start off stand up.
Yeah,
it ain't nothing like that. Those dudes, that's a rite of passage. You know,
absolutely.
Then it's a lot different than just uploading something. Saying something in the privacy of your home, uploading it, and you don't get to have to stand there and be judged and hear what the crowd has to say in real time.
In real time.
And
live.
Watch their expressions. Like sometimes the crowd ain't got to say nothing, and that's even scarier than when they say something.
Like there is no
because
reaction.
They're like, damn, what the fuck?
You tell a joke, you can hear a motherfucker folding a napkin. Nigga, you gonna fold this napkin right now? Like,
man, when I found out you did, you was a real stand-up comic dude, that's been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
I was like, and when I saw you perform, I was like, yeah. That shit makes sense now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It makes sense. Because I was like, his timing is too good. Because I ain't never seen a guy transition from the internet to stage and be that flawless. Be that good. Be able to work the crowd, work the jokes, work the crowd. Hear a distraction. Work the distraction. That's a skill that comes with years of doing this thing.
Yeah. Well, now it's time for some real talk. I probably was one of the, last few guys. I can't say last few because it's been more since me, but when I came out, like the internet sensation thing, people had gotten used to it. It started getting kind of old. You know what I mean? In the beginning, when you had certain people that first came out, and I can't speak firsthand on everybody, but a lot of people who came out when there was really people going viral at first, and it was a new thing. A lot of people, the comedy clubs just grabbed them up. These promoters started putting them in comedy clubs, and they didn't give a damn whether they was actually comedians or not. And when you hear older comedians have a beef or a riff with these social media people, that was the beef. Like that was like these dudes, they can sell tickets, but they're not delivering the jokes. So once people start getting used to it, and then I started going viral, I had to more or less prove myself because people would come out to see me, but after the show, I promise you, after the show, people would come up to me and say, man, you funnier than I thought you was gonna be. And it would be dudes, they'd be standing there with their lady, and they'd be like, bruh, I promise you, I'm only here because she wanted to see you. I ain't think you was gonna be funny. They'd be like, I went to see this one, I went to see that one, I went to see that one, and ain't none of them motherfuckers funny. And I wanted to beat their ass after the show, but you funny for real, man. I'd be like, bruh, thank you, man. Like, because they didn't know that I had been doing it 15, 16 years prior to, you know what I mean, me actually coming out there. So, and I always tell people, like for me, when I first started doing comedy, Facebook wasn't even the type of platform that you like. Facebook, Instagram didn't exist.
And what year is this? You started?
I started in 04. I started in April of 04.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And as a matter of fact, so I'm still friends with the people
Desi.
who are.
But are you and Desi cool?
Yeah, me and Desi been in school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how long? But Desi one of the newer cats. How long you been knowing Desi?
I've been knowing Desi probably maybe 10 years.
Yeah, right.
Maybe 10 years, something like that. See, me and Desi we used to take the same acting class. You know what I mean? Shout out to Dwayne Boyd, Premier Acting Network, down in Atlanta, Georgia. We used to take the same acting class, and I wanted to get into the social media. And Desi had already had 250,000 followers at that time. And he wanted to get into stand-up. So we would always talk about that. And me and Desi, we just hang out and, you know what I mean, be real cool. We shot a couple of skits together, but yeah, that's my dude, man. That's my brother, man. I got a lot of love for him, man. I met his mama, stepdaddy, and all of them, man. And, you know, we done been around each other. So, you know, we still got that same relationship. And I'm proud of, you know, everything that he's done, man, because he really was passionate about it. And I used to tell him, bro, you naturally funny. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's going to click. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That reminds me, Desi is one of those dudes too,
Yeah.
who can make that face.
Yeah.
And you just start laughing.
Yeah, man. That's why I would tell him all the time. I'd be like, bruh, you naturally funny, man.
Yeah.
But, you know, you know, there was always a riff. And I used to tell guys, I used to be like, man, look, this comedy thing, you know, it's not about like you're touring and you're doing these shows now. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't about if you can come, it's about if you can come back. You understand what I'm saying? It's one thing if somebody make one round, but when you come back around and them tickets don't sell like that, that means something wrong. There's a disconnect because there's a lot of people who was touring before, they ain't touring now. And they not able to get that same money that, you know what I mean, that they used to get because everybody knows you're underdeveloped. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you just ain't funny, but nah, you underdeveloped. Like you can't sell an unfinished product. A lot of these guys, the promoters was scamming the public. Like you knew this guy wasn't good, but you put him out here because you knew he could sell tickets because he was popping. But he wasn't going to give the people what they paid for. And now the people are like, oh, now the internet dudes kind of got their name a little dirty. Like that internet sensation, that's a little dusty now. Because just like you said, like, well, I saw him on the internet, so I don't know if he really funny like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, you know, I had to literally, when I was touring, I was selling tickets and I still do, but my thing is I had to make sure that people understood, like, oh no, he funny. Like this is a polished comedian that y'all coming to see. Like, and you know, I don't like, you can't really tell online. Social media really still ain't my thing. But when you come to see me live, I make sure I tear the paint off the wall to make sure, because a lot of the people who come to my shows have seen me before. You know what I mean? Because it ain't about if you can come, it's about if you can come back. And I'm cool with slowly building, you know, my empire or slowly building my art. I'm good with that. You know what I mean? Because you got a guy he can get hot and he just be hot for 2-3 years. And people just like, all right, well, we all have seen him. You know what I mean? But if you got somebody who just can build, it's like comparing a hamburger to Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? It's going to take a little longer. You understand what I'm saying? But we going to eat a while off of this. Right. You know what I'm saying?
You were talking about how the promoters will just put somebody up on stage just because they can sell tickets. They don't give a damn if they're funny or not.
Yeah.
They just put them on stage if they can sell tickets. You ever had a moment where you wanted to whoop on one of the promoters for doing that? Because they mess the game up when they do that. They mess the overall comedy experience up for the fans.
Yeah.
And, you know, because a lot of the fans, they're really not comedy connoisseurs. They just know that, oh, this guy's hot. You know, I heard a few jokes. I like him. Let's go check him out.
Yeah.
And so now they go and they see, oh, this guy ain't hot. And now, so that guy, they spent their money to go check out this guy. Now they're a little bit more reluctant. They're jaded. They don't want to go check out the real dude. Yeah. Because they just blew their money over here messing with this guy, thinking just because he was booked. Because they're trusting the promoter. They're trusting the venue that they're going to bring funny people. Right. They're not thinking that these guys are just bringing somebody just because they can sell tickets and they don't give a damn if you have a good time or not.
Right. No, I mean, I never was in a position where I wanted to whoop a promoter's ass behind that. You know what I mean? Because the truth of the matter is when all the viral stuff really first popping off and the other comedians that were, you know, coming up the conventional way and really hadn't figured social media out yet, promoters were really like staying away from other comics. You had to have a name. You know what I mean? So if you were just a regular comedian didn't have a name, you were funny, but you didn't have a name. Promoters weren't, they didn't even
still
care.
like that.
Yeah, like right. They didn't even care. They just kind of like, who are you? You know what I mean? And next thing you know, it's like when Varnell Hill met Martin. You know what I'm saying? It was like you got this one guy over here. He ain't funny, but and it's not just on the promoters either, because the public.
Ultimately, I was going to say, it's on the fans.
It's on the fans. I mean, I mean, they clamoring over these people, and I'm not sour graping at all. What I'm saying is like they decided we like this guy, and they decided everything this person says is just hilarious, and you know what I mean, and we love them, and to the social media people's
credit.
To their credit, a lot of them are funny. They were underdeveloped, but they were funny and they were very likable. You know what I mean? And shout out to all of them who have been able to sustain themselves. You know what I mean? To say, hey, look, I grabbed onto a rocket and I held on to that motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I'm happy to see that, because a lot of them were young black people who could have been doing anything else. You know what I'm saying? So I never had no hatred in my heart. I just always wanted to figure that part out. You know what I mean?
So you had that mentality, like, don't get mad, get even.
Yeah, like you got to
work harder.
If this is what it is, because the generations before us, but they had other vehicles. Like social media was a vehicle, but before that, Comic View and Def Jam was a vehicle. And then Wildin' Out became a vehicle, and like Living Color became a vehicle. There was certain things that were there that helped you get out. You know what I mean? The only difference was, Wildin' Out is a television show. Living Color, Comedy, all those were television shows. Somebody had to pick you to be on there. You know what I mean? Social media is like the Wild Wild West. You know what I mean? Like you just got to. It's on you. You build your own credibility. And knowing Desi and knowing how passionate he was made me see things from a social media personality's point of view. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I see how he is. I see what kind of work ethic he got. I see what kind of passion he has, and, and vice versa. You know what I mean? I think being around me and other comedians too made him really respect, the grind that it takes in order to be good at what we do,
How much credence do you think that the statement Godfrey made about comedians black comedians not putting other black comedians on out of jealousy or just selfishness? Because I had Godfrey on the show, and he spoke to that. Like, he said that's a big problem in the comedy world. Where, and he also cited how Joe Rogan puts on, the white comedians. They put each other on and help each other become famous and rich.
Yeah,
Do you see that problem? I mean, how much of that is like real to you?
Yeah, it's real. But it's not it's not exclusive to us. Something about the comedy culture, because this is like being a comedian, kind of like being a boxer. You know what I'm saying? Like, for some reason or another, people see it as competition. Like, everybody wants to do great. Everybody wants to go on stage and kill. But I speak against that type of mentality. You know what I mean? You have to learn how to look at the big picture. Anybody who's out for self is not really looking at the big picture. Let's say me and you are two comedians, right? And we are friends. And, we done split a sandwich together. You know what I mean? Like, we done been through some things together. But I get presented with an opportunity. Now, it's open to everybody, but I don't come and tell you, hey, man, they auditioning for X, Y, and Z. I keep that a secret. Now, me and you shared an apartment, split sandwiches. We even budget together, man. Like,
talk every day.
Yeah, we talk every day. Like we depending on each other for survival. I'm looking in your face every day, but I get this opportunity, and then I get that jealousy or I get, I that insecurity of, man, I ain't gonna tell him about that because I don't want him to be not thinking about the other 100 people that can get this part. I just don't want you to get it. You know what I'm saying? And I speak against that. It's like, it's about who you know also. You know what I'm saying? So that'll be that moment that I'm like, oh, I'm not going to tell you about that. And you feel some kind of way about that. That starts the split between me and you. Now, fast forward 20 years from now. I've written a script. This is the next Black Panther. I got an amazing script. And with me walking around with this dynamic script, I got to go and shop it and nobody wants to take it. And you got a production company. Now, I'm over here trying to shop my script to all these people to get it shot and, lit, green lit and all that other stuff. And they not messing with me. But I could have just been able to give it to you had we not had that falling out years ago over a bullshit audition that neither one of us got. So a lot of that stuff happens. And I'm just like, we all should be collectively trying to come up together and understand that it's bigger than just stand-up. You know what I mean? Like, look at Robert Townsend. Robert Townsend used to be a stand-up comedian, and now look at where he is. You know what I mean? Keenan Ivory Wayans was a stand-up comedian, and look at where he is. So you have to be versatile and understand, like, okay, yes, I have this talent, but everybody can't be Kevin Hart. Let me try see what directing feels like. Let me try and see what writing feels like. Let me try and see what producing feels like, because I may have my skill really might be there. That might be my real gift. You know what I mean? But I can turn this, if I become a producer, if I have my own studio, I have my own situation where, hell, I can film as many comedy specials as I want to because I'm in control of my own thing. You know what I mean? So that's how I see it. So Godfrey he was right about that. Shout out to him.
Yeah. How much of your comedy is true? Real life?
Oh,
to
man.
you, real life to you.
Oh, man, it's most of it. You embellish a little bit just for joke purposes, but most of it is coming from a real place, man.
When you embellish it, what does Courtney say about that?
Oh,
like when you talk about her, how does she feel about that when you talk about her?
Oh, man,
your wife.
No, you know what? She cool, man. My wife is cool as hell. I don't think I could have ever picked a better wife.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Yeah,
okay,
yes,
right.
man. I couldn't have picked a better wife, man. You know what I mean? And me coming from, that household, love marriage or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, and having those men around me, I was able to get some good advice about selecting a wife too. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, she's real cool. And I'll put this out there, you know what I mean, when it comes to selecting a wife. And I tell other men this too. Before you decide to go out and choose a wife, you need to talk to God first. You need to have a conversation with God first. You know what I mean? Every man that I know, because people love to say, well, I don't know no happily married people. Every man that I've known, every happily married couple that I've ever met, you know what I mean? The ones who were truly happy with each other, stick with each other through thick and thin, been married 40, 50 years, and, not lovey-dovey, but committed to one another and in love with each other. They've all said the same thing. It's like, you need to pray and talk to God first.
What was your conversation with God like about picking the right one?
I just said, send me my wife. I said, I think I'm ready. I said, send me my wife. And
you just said, send me my wife. You didn't say what kind? You didn't put an order in?
No, I didn't do that because I wanted to completely trust God.
You trusted in the Lord.
Yeah, with the selection.
Yeah.
I wanted him to pick my wife. I didn't want to have no part in the selection process. He know what I want.
Yeah.
And he knew what I needed.
Right.
So,
I got you.
And yeah. I mean, he gave me everything that I needed to give me, you know what I mean? Like he gave me what I wanted, you know what I mean? But more importantly, he gave me what I needed. You know what I'm saying? And oddly enough, well, she later on revealed to me that when she was single, she prayed and asked God that when she met the man she was supposed to marry, that we would recognize each other. And that's what happened. So that's all I always tell people, you gotta talk to God first. It ain't about being perfect. See, all on the internet now is everybody says, well, you got to have this, you got to have that, you got that. Man, look, when are you ever gonna be perfect? Never. But if you feel that you are ready to, take that next step or be in that space, you need to talk to God first. You know what I mean? And I don't know, I might get canceled for that because, Lord, you can't talk about God nowhere. You know what I'm saying? But it's the truth, man. You gotta. What does it say? Seek Him first, and all the things will be added to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I tell them, man. Don't do the selecting. And I tell men too all the time, man, because I've seen it happen. Never ever. This gonna be a viral soundbite right here. Never ever, under no circumstances, leave a good woman for a bad bitch. Never. I don't care what's going on. I don't care if that good woman done gained weight. I don't give a damn if she's so big she can't even barely get in or out the house. If she's a good woman, you stay your ass right there. Y'all work through all of that. Never leave a good woman for a bad bitch. They say the grass is green on the other side. It is green. Yes, it is. You know what make grass green? Shit. So you look over that fence, you see that green grass, just know it's plenty of shit over there. So you better stay your ass from over there.
That's heavy, man. That's heavy. You are a licensed funeral director.
Yeah, and embalmer.
Man, and embalmer. Man, are you the first of your kind to actually not? I'm sure there's some funeral director at some point has jumped on stage before, but I don't think that we've ever had one that has reached the level of success that you have.
I am the most famous funeral director in the world.
Now, how old were you when you had to handle your first body?
Oh man, I got a joke about that. Yeah. I was about maybe 12, 13, 14, somewhere in there. You know what I mean? Real young, man. And my father, like I said, he was a man's man. He wasn't the type of person, he didn't tell me that's what we was getting ready to do. You know what I mean? We were coming back from church. You know what I mean? And everybody got out the car. My father told me, hold on, I need you to help me do something. That was it. That's all he said. I didn't know what that meant. Like, and he wasn't like I couldn't tell him no. When I was younger, you ain't ask your daddy no questions. You know what I mean? I need you to help me do so. That's it. End of discussion. That's that old school raising. There, get in the car. That's it. Ain't no where we going, what we doing. Get your ass in the car. And that's what we did. We went and picked up the body. We went to this the housing projects in Sumter, believe it or not, we got them too, called Bernie Circle. It's still there. Every time I pass by it, I think about it. We went to Bernie Circle and picked up the body. I didn't know what was going on, man. It was a bunch of people in the house crying and all that other stuff. And then I just looked up and there was a lady in the chair. I thought she was asleep. You know what I mean? And it took me a minute to realize the woman dead. You know what I mean? As soon as I figured out she was dead, my daddy looked at me and said, all right, grab her legs. That was it.
Wow.
That was it.
Wow.
Yeah, man. And he didn't give me no gloves or nothing, man. It's just raw hands. I had to grab dead lady legs, man. Yep. Yeah.
What is the hardest part about being a funeral director?
For me, personally, burying children. Don't like it. I can do it, you know what I mean? Because there's always something about whatever you do is something that you don't like. But the part that I hate the most, I hate burying children. I despise it. It always seems to kind of get next to me a little bit. Mm-hmm. I don't like it at all. I don't like to see. I know that it's just a part of life. It's just the world we live in, that children pass away, from multiple reasons, you know what I mean? Next to that would be when young people, teenagers or just young people in their 20s or whatever, throw away their lives, you know what I mean? Go into street life and get killed or whatever the case may be, I hate that, because you have, life is precious. and we have so many people that are young and some old that don't understand how precious life is, and they make some of the wrong decisions, and the wrong decisions, they cost them, and it's tough.
Like burying these youngsters, you get a lot of that, huh?
Yeah, man. I remember one time I had to embalm a guy who got killed by the police, and he had, according to the story, he killed a police officer and was on the run, and by the time when the police caught up with him, like everybody knew what was gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kill a cop, when the police catch you, and you black, there's a strong likelihood that you're not coming back alive. Strong likelihood, and they did whatever it is they intended to do. They took him. They got him on out of here.
How bad is necrophilia in that?
Nobody's ever asked me that.
Yeah.
Really? You just let that one roll out. Ain't nobody ever asked me.
That's like a phobia to me.
Who out here fucking them dead people?
Yeah, that's like a phobia. Because I know that I hear these stories from time to time.
Yeah.
About these guys in that space that that play with dead bodies and violate dead bodies sexually. Like, how bad is that? If you ever known a person like that?
Nah, man, nah.
Y'all ain't never had to fire somebody like that?
Nah, man. If I ever caught somebody doing that, man, I'd call the police, man. Yeah. Like I can't. God, nah, bro. I mean, it's cold back there. You know what I mean? You can't even see. Like, bro. I've never personally never met anybody, and I don't even know anybody who knows somebody who did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody tell stories and be like, man, they said over there at that funeral home it was somebody, but I ain't never. It's just you know what I mean? Yeah. No.
Lately I've been seeing a lot of stuff on the internet with families having disputes, knockout, drag-out fights at the funerals. It happens. How often does it happen, when you are servicing the family?
Well, I keep control over everybody. But I'm lying. If something pop off...
What do you do when you know that there's tension and that could be blood?
Be ready to get the hell on.
Do you try to quarrel it by talking to the family?
No, my father told
first?
me long time ago, we don't do domestic. Matter of fact, 'cause he was in a situation where this guy died. He was a truck driver, and apparently he had 2 wives. They didn't know nothing about each other, and they were the same kind of woman, because at the funeral, both of the wives brought guns to the funeral, and one pulled out, the other one pulled out. And my father never stuck around to see what the hell was getting ready to happen. He jumped out the window of the church. And my granddaddy was alive then, and he ran to the pastor's office and locked the door. And the pastor was beating on the door. My granddaddy was in there talking about, ain't nobody home. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he got the hell up out of there. So I don't know what happened. You know what I mean?
I always thought that was the most disrespectful thing that a person could do in the wake of a loved one dying, was to go show up at their homegoing service and act a damn fool.
Yeah. Well, emotions are high in the midst of somebody passing away. You imagine somebody that's very close to you pass away, and somebody says or does something extremely disrespectful. And, this is the thing about it. Like, if somebody within your immediate family pass away, you know what I mean? Mama, daddy, sister, brother, wife, so just somebody that's close to you, you kind of on autopilot, and you can be easily triggered. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody says something disrespectful to you, disrespectful about the person who's passed away, you already dealing with enough. You on edge. You know what I'm saying? And one of the phases of grief is anger. a natural phase of grief. See, anger has, grief has 5 stages. There's anger, depression, bargaining. It's anger, depression, bargaining, something else. But yeah, I know anger one of them.
Isn't fear one of them?
No. It's it's just depression and bargaining. Man, why am I? Acceptance is one of them. I don't know how I'm forgetting now, man. This is terrible. They gonna think I'm a bad funeral director, but whatever. Yes, but anger is one of them. You know what I mean? So you can, I've had somebody pass away, and then you feel angry that they're gone because you like when my father passed. Like my father wasn't that old, man. My father passed. He was 70 years old. So I would think about. Like I lost my father the same year I became a father. So I would feel a little bit of anger anytime I thought about me having to live the rest of my life without him. Without that wisdom, without that knowledge, without being able to pick up the phone and call him and tell him how his grandchildren are doing, or just, not being in his presence. You know what I mean? Because even though he was older than me, as a grown man still, around him, I did feel protected. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy how, and it doesn't necessarily have to be your biological father, but a mentor, anybody who takes you on as, no, this is my boy. You know what I mean? That wants to teach you the things about manhood and show you how to navigate through this world as a man and as a black man. No matter how old that person get, they may be old and bogged down and weak, but when you get around them, there's a level of protection. Even when you feel as though you are obligated to protect them, they still have that presence of their presence somehow protects you. And that's kind of what it was with my father, you know what I mean? Like I still felt, when he was sick and getting weak, his presence alone, I felt just a little bit safer. Even as a grown man, I just felt safer that he was there, that he was around. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Denial, that's the other one. So it's denial, anger, bargaining, acceptance, and depression. Those are the 5 stages of grief.
I would have thought one of them would have been blame. Because we be looking for somebody to blame. Like when somebody die close to us, like we want to blame somebody. Like they couldn't have just died. Yeah. Somebody did something. Somebody put something in their drink. Somebody spooked them and made them have a heart attack. Yeah. Doctor did something. Nurse.
Why you give him them shoes? Nigga, he ain't never wore them shoes. Put them shoes on, now he dead.
Right.
But that falls under anger though.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. So, and I learned that in mortuary school.
Yeah, Gumpton Jones Mortuary College.
Yeah, Gumpton Jones.
Talk about Gumpton Jones.
Down there in Atlanta, Georgia. Shout out to Gumpton Jones Mortuary College. Believe it or not, man, I went to Gumpton Jones. My sister did. My mama did. My father did. You had to go. You had to go there to. You already had the experience because you've been working in the family business, but you had to go there to get your license, right? Yeah, well, you have to go there because if you want to be a licensed embalmer, you got to go to mortuary school. Okay. So you don't necessarily have to go to school to be a funeral director. You just have to get licensed with the state, take a test, and then you get your license. But you have to do an apprenticeship. But my process, to be fully fledged funeral director and embalmer, you have to do a 2-year apprenticeship and also go to mortuary school. You have to take a series of tests. I mean, a lot of tests. And, I'm a national board certified funeral director and embalmer, which means that I could move to any state in America and, and operate as a funeral director and embalmer. Which the only thing is, like, I'm licensed in South Carolina and in Georgia, but if I come here, all I got to do is take the state laws test. I just need to learn the laws of the state, take that test, and then I'm fully licensed.
Did y'all practice with cadavers, or what y'all?
Yeah, we had some. We had like 1 or 2 bodies at the school, but I had to go to like you get sent out to local funeral homes.
Oh,
you know what I mean, to at least observe and practice. I mean, but that was like when I was in school, that wasn't even. It was necessary just for, the paperwork purposes, but hell, I had already seen all this stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like I said.
You were well ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Did most people already see that stuff, or that was a lot of the first time?
Only a handful of people were really, really, into it like how I was.
So you probably was in there showing the professor how to do certain things.
Well, no, you know what? My sister told me. She says, like, look, when you go there, it's gonna be some stuff you know. Don't go in there talking about what you know. Just take the test, pass the class, and get your ass back here. That's all you gotta do. She was like, I know they're gonna say something that might be wrong or you probably think you can do it better. Don't worry about that. Just, and I'm like, you know what? You're right. I ain't going down there.
Great advice.
But you know what? The cool thing about it was, like, I was so happy about how I came up because when I would be sitting in class, I remember the embalming professor would show or talk about a certain kind of way to do something. And then he would say, but you know what the best way is? And whatever he was describing as the best way to do something, he always described how my father taught me how to do it. Every time.
And that you was like,
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
that's
man. Anytime he would be like, but the best way to do this is X, Y, and Z, and he would explain exactly how my father would teach me. And my father used to get in my ass about stuff. You know what I mean? He'd be like, damn it, this is what you're supposed to do. Now I don't want to see you doing it no other kind of way, you know what I mean? And he was so far advanced and stuff, man. I thought that I would never be able to do, what he did, but he taught me, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful for a lot of the things, you know what I mean?
And I think he knew that. First of all, you ain't got no problem expressing yourself, so I know you already. He knew how you felt about him. My son, from time to time, will tell me how something worked out. I give him some advice. And this is life stuff, like real life advice where some people pay for this information.
Yeah.
I give him this information, and he learned to trust the process because, Daddy be on some cool, correct type shit, all the time. So he go say, look, do it like this. Even talking to women, like even when he was talking to little girls, when he first started talking to girls, look, man, tell her this. Say this, woo, 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 woo.
Yeah.
Do it like this. If she do this, if she say this, then you say this. If she say this, she say this. Oh, something going on with, they got some friend drama, whatever. Look, man, this side, woo, woo. And he just applied the knowledge. A lot of youngsters, that's one thing I can say about mine is that they will listen. They listen to not just me, but they also listen to their mom. Their mom is a mechanical engineer.
Oh, okay.
So, she got a lot of information also.
Mm-hmm.
My son and daughter, I always told them that I would support anything they do as long as they was on some positive stuff, and that they get a degree in business, major or minor in business. So my daughter ended up minoring in business. She majored in law, and my son ended up majoring in business. So I was surprised that they took my advice because, when you raise independent kids, well, you going to know now because yours 3 right now.
My daughter don't listen to shit I say. Kids, man.
And if that's the case already.
I mean, they listen to me, but I'd be like, you got to threaten their ass. My damn, man, I got 2 little girls, you know what I mean?
The
Beautiful.
youngest is 3, right?
Nah, my oldest is 3.
The oldest is 3.
Oldest is 3 now. They all on foot. I mean, every morning. Now, my wife is the one who really is hands-on. She spend more time with them than anything. But when I'm home, I just see every morning it's the same thing every damn time. We get up in the morning, my wife make breakfast, for everybody. She'd tell my oldest daughter, baby, come sit down and eat. My daughter would sit down for 2 seconds, pick a little bit off the plate, then she want to get up and run around and come back, pick a little bit off the plate. Now, my youngest daughter will eat everything. My baby girl will eat that damn couch if you let her. You know what I'm saying? And then, so what happens is, while my oldest daughter want to run around and watch TV and just BS around, then my baby girl, she go find her way over to my oldest daughter's plate and start trying to pick off there. And then when she see it, she come running over there mad. Nah, then she want to eat. And every morning we like, we told your ass to sit down and eat the damn food. She wouldn't have ate it if you would just sit down and eat. I mean, it happens every single morning. I don't understand it, bro. I don't understand. Like, how you not hungry until, you know what I mean, you see somebody else eat your damn food. You just want it available. You know what I mean? So, but it's crazy though, man. Like, my daughters are, you know how daughters are. They can be sweethearts, but then sometimes you be looking at them like, you testing my damn nerves, bro. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Man, Antonio Tarver is one of my buddies.
Yes.
And I just recently found out that you and him was cool.
Yeah, that's my guy, man.
How did that happen? How did y'all meet?
Man, I think I seen him like comment on a couple of my videos. And I was leaving Pensacola, Florida, and I think we was in the airport. Whatever airport is close to Pensacola, Florida. And I walked past him, and I recognized him. And since he had been commenting on the videos, I walked up on him and introduced myself. You know what I mean? And then he realized it was me. We chopped it up a little bit, and then we took a picture, and that was it. I think we might exchange numbers then. And then it's crazy because with me being a funeral director, soon after that, shortly after we met, 2 people that he knew that were very close to him, like some mentors, had passed away. And how we became real cool was that he would call me and he would just vent and talk about, the people that passed away, and then we would just chop it up. Like, a lot of times, man, you just need to listen. And I knew how bad he needed somebody just to listen. It was really bothering him. So I would just, I talk a little bit, I let him vent and just, get all those emotions out. I mean, it wasn't like he was boo-hoo crying on the phone. And if he was, that's cool. But that's not what he was doing. And then that's how we really got cool, man. And we talk all the time. And that's my dude, man. Yeah. That's my dude, bro. Good brother, man. Yeah. And he still can whoop a little ass too.
Yeah, well, once a fighter, always a fighter.
Just like you. You think I ain't know you was a boxer too.
Yeah, man, once they register those hands, man, you can't ever underestimate them.
You was nice, boy. Yeah. You was nice. I seen you whoop a little ass. I remember the first time you had a televised fight.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that. I saw that fight. It didn't take long. It didn't take you long at all.
Right.
Yeah, man, you know.
Yeah, boxing, man, it's hard for me to explain my love for boxing.
Yeah.
Like, the adrenaline that you get from walking out that tunnel through the audience, climbing on stage, climbing on to the ring and going through the ropes, standing on that canvas, and people around you. It's almost kind of like back in the Greek days when they would battle. And all these people around, and it want blood, and and you thinking to yourself, you may not come out of here the same way you went in,
right?
Because it is a very dangerous sport. Mm-hmm. But it's hard to tell people, to get them to understand. Why would you do some shit like that? Why, out of all the things? Because I got options, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I didn't have to fight, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I went in on the professional level after the music.
Yeah.
But it's hard to.
So you really didn't have to do it.
Yeah, it's hard to get people to understand that. But even in the amateurs, I could have done some other stuff when I was fighting the amateurs and we was fighting every week in the amateurs.
Yeah.
Every week it's a new fight,
Yeah, and nigga have a record, an amateur record be 300.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have a long amateur career, but I did win the Golden Gloves. Mm-hmm. I had a 31-1 record.
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't. I realized early on that, man, I got to pick a side. After I won the Golden Gloves, I was like, okay, everybody thought I was going to naturally turn pro right then and there. And I was like, man, I'm rapping now and I'm pretty good at this shit, right?
Yeah.
So I started thinking like, okay, I got to make a choice,
Mm-hmm.
rap or boxing. 'Cause
Right.
I got to be dedicated to one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, the girls like boxing, the girls like rapping.
Yeah.
They like boxers, they like rappers. You can make a lot of money rapping, you can make a lot of money boxing. But at the end of the night, I don't have no headaches
Yeah.
after I rap.
Yeah.
And so it was as simple as that. That's how I made my choice.
Yeah. Your rapping got better recovery time.
Yeah, man. I was
You
like, a lot better recovery time, man.
Yeah. Plus, I think it's obviously everybody know. Boxers. When you see boxers later on down, not all, but most. Honestly, most.
Yeah.
You can see where the damage has been done.
That's true.
You know what I mean? In the speech, they repeating things, slurring, and all that stuff. Man, I got a good friend of mine, Jared Robinson. He quit because he was like, man, he was somewhere, and he was like, he just started drooling. He was like, man, this is it. I'm done.
I'm glad I stepped away, man, myself, because see, I didn't mind exchanging blows. Like I didn't mind somebody hitting me. I didn't mind getting in to take the hit so I can deliver a bigger hit.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that. And that is a dangerous way to fight. I remember Floyd Mayweather told me before I even started on the pro level, he said, Floyd say, now check this out. The name of the game is hit and don't get hit.
That's right.
That's what he told me. He said, hit and don't get hit.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game.
You know what? Because y'all do have a connection, you and Floyd. Back then, y'all would have had a connection. Y'all had the same manager.
Yeah. No. We never had the same manager.
So
I was self-managed.
Okay.
But Jay was managing Floyd. But we do have that connection, Jay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Jay was managing. In fact, Floyd was at my first fight.
Yeah.
He was there.
Yeah, man, and shout out to Jay Prince too, man. People be trying to say a lot of stuff about him, but I think he a cool dude. I listened to his book. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and it's a long drive. I had long drives. I turned it on. I discovered like on YouTube. So I just listened to it. But you know what I mean? The only thing about it is like you could tell how much respect he got because he never raised his voice. It was a real monotone,
right,
cool, like I'm listening to the book and it's like, yeah, so in 1987, I decided that I'm just like, damn,
you got to slow it down a little bit more. Hold on, this is Jay right here. So in 1987, I made my mind up that I'd have to do something different. So I reached out to Willie D. He got on board. Then I signed Scarface, and I knew I had a formidable team right there.
Yeah.
But then we brought in Bushwick.
Yeah.
And then
yeah, man.
I already had Ready Red.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So yeah, man, it was beautiful.
I think Jay Prince needs to move into some other things.
He already moving into some other things.
No, man, we need to talk, man, because I want Jay Prince. Jay Prince need to have a talk show, like a game show, like Steve Harvey. You imagine? You imagine?
Paint the picture.
Yeah, you imagine Jay Prince on, Family Feud. Okay, now the top 5 answers is on the board. We asked 100 men and women, name an animal that starts with the letter P. Man, that damn game show be 3 hours long. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna say nothing, no.
No. When they get it wrong, this is what Jay gonna do. Man, how you come up with some shit like that?
No, man, shout out to him, man.
Man, shout out to Jay, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jay for real.
Yeah.
Man. So your next move, man, what's going on? I know your next move gonna be your best move, and you can't really just explain exactly certain things.
Yeah.
But what's in motion that's already in motion that we can look at?
I filmed a stand-up special. I put that out there.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Now that was from where?
I filmed it in DC.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not on a platform yet. We're still trying to make sure we figure out the best option right now. You know what I mean? And my business motto is always about equity. You know what I'm saying? So
So you're not going to Netflix?
Oh well, I mean, it always
do
depends.
Netflix do the equity? I thought they didn't.
Well,
do
I don't know. You know what I mean? I've never had a conversation with him. I just know that I always want to own my stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like if I sit down, and I tell other people this down, you know, when you sit down at the negotiating table, so to speak, only three things are gonna happen at the negotiating table. Either their grandchildren are gonna get rich, both of your grandchildren are gonna get rich, or your grandchildren are gonna get rich. Now, 2 of those I'm cool with. I'm cool with my grandchildren eating, you know, and our grandchildren eating. But if it's just your grandchildren, see, I got a problem with that.
You should speak to Ali Sadiq.
Yeah.
Have you been watching what he's been doing with his domino effect?
Yeah, man. I shot him a
man.
message, man. I like Ali, man.
Yeah, Ali been killing it.
Yeah, man.
Like you should. I mean, that's an alternative. That like it. You know, it may not get the big old bang that Netflix is going to put out there with all of the the glitz and the glamour, whatever. But we talking about money.
Yeah, but
about the bottom line. We talking about the bag.
Yeah, well, see that
Ali getting that bag.
Yeah, he is. But the also and a credit to him is what I also see is that it's just not about the money you getting right now. See, with Netflix, what I've noticed is that, and shout out to them too, not to shun them. I mean, but what I've seen is that there'll be a big uproar leading up to, to a release of something, and then it lasts about a week. You know what I mean? And then we on to the next, and that's
just a tab.
Yeah, that's the yeah.
I'm wondering now that I think about it.
But that's the climate we in, though.
I'm kind of wondering like what Cat's situation was like, because I know Cat like ownership. Mm-hmm. Cat like equity. You know what I'm saying? So I know it depends on who it is. I'm pretty sure that,
Yeah, I mean,
because in life, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate.
Right. And my thing is, like I said, I have children now. So I want them to benefit from my work because that's who I'm working for. I want them to, if somebody watches my stuff, purchases my stuff, they should eat. You know what I mean? I don't want to go and take a chunk of money. And then, because the thing about it is, if somebody give you some money, if you have any sense, then the next thing you do with that check, then you gotta live, but next thing I gotta invest. I gotta find something with some value and equity in order to continue living. So if that's the case, then why not recognize the value in yourself? You know what I mean? And make sure that, hey, I want to be able to pass this on to my children. You know what I mean? And I like to add this because I just had this conversation with my boy's son, man, a good friend of mine's son. I always tell people there's 3 things in life you need to manage that cover every category. It's 3 things. That's location, association, and value. You need to know where to be and where not to be. You need to know who to be around and who not to be around. And your value is what you know and what you know how to do. if you see somebody that is unsuccessful or not on the path to success, that means that one of the three of these things, if not all three of them, are out of whack. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, as far as value, I could be the best pilot in the world. I could be a licensed pilot. I could be the greatest pilot in the damn world. And I could, as far as association, I could know all the right people. But if my location ain't right, if I decide to live in Bishopville, South Carolina, I'm not going to be successful as a pilot because ain't no damn airport in Bishopville, South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? And as far as association, like, we know that. Like, who you know or who you around and, you know, can be your detriment. If you hanging around successful people, you're going to be successful. Even if you got value and you in the right location, if you hang around the wrong people, you're going to end up in the wrong spot. You know, if you hang around people that's going to jail, your ass going to jail too. You know, and as far as value, you can be in the right location and you can have the right association, but if you don't have value, if you don't know something, and if you don't know how to do something, then you have no value to people. Hell, if I can come to you and say, Willie, man, they hiring doctors down there at the hospital. Well, that don't mean shit to you. You ain't no damn doctor. As bad as you need a job, you can't carry your ass down there. Hey, man, I just need a job. Yeah, well, we hiring doctors. Well, okay, well, you got to get your ass out of there. You know what I mean? You have to learn how to do something, whether it's a barber, doctor, if you can drive, or anything, something, you know what I mean? Engineer, whatever it is, but you have to learn a skill, figure out your gift and pour into that so you can have value. With those three categories, they cover everything in life, no matter what. Everything in life falls under location, association, and value. And people have to learn how to manage those things. You know what I mean?
Thank God you learned how to manage those things and graced us with all of the funny video clips that you drop on your Instagram daily. That's Shuler King, right?
Yeah,
Are you
everything.
Shuler King across all platforms?
Across all platforms. And TikTok is on life support. I'm still on, we on that too. Shuler King is.
TikTok ain't going nowhere, man.
Yeah.
Just remember, always, in America, anytime there's big money being made, that money is they're never going to stop making big money.
Right.
That's not going to happen. Once big money start happening, they're going to figure it out. But they're never going to just say, "Oh, we're going to let that $1 trillion industry just go to hell." No, they're going to go and make some type of deal. So it ain't hard to figure out, man. Y'all stop panicking and get off suicide watch.
I can't believe people actually upset about that.
Yeah,
that's silly as hell. Like I really don't give a damn. To be honest, but I could care less about that. You know what I mean? And
does that mean that you're not making a lot of money on TikTok?
That's exactly what that means. I ain't, you know what I mean? I ain't losing no damn money on that.
Because there's people making $20 million and $40 million on TikTok.
I was never one of them people.
Like, damn, man, I don't even know if I made $40 on TikTok.
Hell no.
$40 million.
Nah, man. Well, you know, every social media platform have their picks. You know what I'm saying? They got, and that's really how it's set up, man.
You're right.
They have their picks.
You're absolutely right.
They got their picks, man. I'm not gonna say this person's name, but they're making a lot of money on social media, and they weren't always making money on social media. When you know, it was crazy thing about it. We were talking about social media personalities before. The funny thing about social media personalities is that a lot of them were famous and broke. A lot of them were famous and broke. And some of them went on to make a lot of money on the road, but they didn't start making money on social media until COVID happened. And I was making the money because, you know, when you're out there but you ain't balling, you got to do everything. You know what I'm saying? I got to monetize my videos. I got to hit the road. I was doing everything because I'm that kind of person. You know what I mean? I come up around people who are going to work night and day, do what they got to do. You know what I'm saying? My mama worked more than one job. My daddy worked more than one job. You know what I mean? So I come from that cloth. So, you know, and then when COVID happened, I started getting calls from certain comedians that I had never heard from. But like I knew them, but I didn't. You're like, I
They
don't know.
trying to ask, man, how you do that,
Right,
that
yeah.
YouTube channel, man?
Yeah.
How you do that
Yeah.
Instagram like
Yeah.
that? Woo, woo, woo.
And we'd had that conversation, and you know, I ain't tripping because somebody taught me. The only difference was, and shout out to a comedian, a female comedian down in Charlotte named Nikita B. She's the one that taught me how to monetize my Facebook. Desi was the one that showed me how to monetize my YouTube.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to them. And so the only funny thing was is that I got a few calls from people. They reached out to me, and we had some conversations. And after they figured it out, I never heard from them again. You know,
It'd be like that.
It'd be like
Welcome
that.
to Hollywood.
Yeah, well, it's all good. I was like, boy, that boy ready for Hollywood, man. He
Right.
already got it down. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I also know when they tell the stories, one, they leave me out of the story. That's the one. And that's fine. I don't care. I don't get nothing off of that. But also the other part that they leave out of the story is that they leave out that some of them were able to sit down with the people of these platforms, you know, and, you know, I don't know whether it was a deal struck up or something like that because I wasn't there, but I do know I was told, you know, from them, oh yeah, I was able to talk to the people. And after that, it was just, it took off, you know what I mean? And that's cool, you know what I mean? It's a blessing for them, you know what I mean? But a lot of times we both know in this entertainment business, sometimes certain things can happen in the back. And it ain't got to be no Illuminati funny stuff. It's just certain things, conversations are had in the office, and when they're presented out to the world, they make it seem like, oh man, this just organically happened.
Right.
And that ain't the case.
But at that point, we're talking about association.
Yeah.
That's where you win at right there.
Yeah.
That's what they you know, because they brought the value. You said value, association, and location.
Location, that's right.
So they got all of that.
Yeah.
And it lined up for them.
It lined up for
But
them.
thank God it lined up for you too, man. Because the cool thing is about it, you ain't got to be jealous of nobody else. Because what's for you, for you.
Oh yeah, no man. Like I see my own path, and I see how great things are going for me. And you know, like with my own life, man, I got some public wins, but I really appreciate them private wins, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing to complain about. You know what I mean? You been out to the show. You see, man, my whole weekend out here was sold out. Yeah.
Sold out.
You know what I mean? Sold
Shuler
out.
King, sold out. How does that feel? I know we got to break it up, but how did that feel, man, to see your name on the billboard after all that damn years, all that work that you put in, and now you're the headliner? Shuler King.
Yeah.
And that line, you know, is for you. It ain't for nobody else.
Yeah.
They came for you. They standing in the cold.
Yeah.
They're standing in the rain.
Yeah.
Because of you.
Yeah.
And all of that damn work that you put in.
Yeah.
Man, how does that feel?
Oh man, well, like when it first started happening, I ain't gonna lie, man. That's some pressure. Cause you know you in a new space. You like man. First of all, I was one of the people gonna show up, and then they show up, and then you like, okay, everything is right once you get on stage. All the rest of that stuff, people gonna show up, and all this other stuff, and you see your name in lights, and you're like, oh man, I've been wanting to get here, and then you here, and you like, man, can I? Like I don't doubt myself. Like I know I can do it. You know, but everything is right. All of that nervousness goes away when you get on that stage. You know what I'm saying? That's the great equalizer. Once I got that microphone and I'm on stage, I know I'm in control now. You know what I mean? So all people got to do is show up.
Well, what I've seen that works for all of these years that I've been supporting comedians is consistency.
Yeah.
Those guys who, once they got hot, who were consistent, are still getting money right now.
Yeah.
They're still getting booked. They got their New Year's. They got all of the holiday stuff. They got the New Year's Eve, and they got all of that action in between. Those guys are still getting money. So consistency.
That's it.
And hey, man, ain't no telling how far you can go with that.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I mean, like I said, bro, I don't have nothing to complain about, man. We you know, the biggest thing is my wife and my children. You know what I mean? I'm blessed in so many ways to just be able to have them. You know, it's you know, 'cause people out there on social media, man, they dog marriage, man. But let me tell you something. When I can get a text message from my wife and she tell me, "Yeah, I'm cooking lobster tail tonight." Hey, bro, hey, I'm good.
Get a little bit quicker.
Yeah, hey, y'all can keep all this other shit out here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, so my family, my mother, my sister, my brother, the house I live in, you know, the places I've been able to go, you know, and the business that I've been able to do, you know, myself and my line brother, attorney Marcus Brown, we doing, there's a new franchise coming out of Atlanta called Big Dave's Cheesesteaks, and we signed to do 5 locations in South Carolina.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So, you know, that's a part of that, building the equity, man. There's a couple of more, you know, business things I can't put out there just yet, but I bet next time we probably, you know, we'll be able to talk about it, you know, next time I'm around. But yeah man, you know, so I can't, you're right. I'm too busy to be to look at somebody else and say, well, they got something that I don't have, you know, because it takes too much energy. I got to use all my energy to manage, you know, my kingdom and, you know, what God has given me, you know.
Thank God, God has given you us, ladies and gentlemen. Shuler King.
Yeah, man. It's
no
over
more
with.
talk.
I ain't get the chance to talk shit about people. I wanted to pull off a Cat Williams, man.